Let's get it. What up?
Let's get it. So episode 5, DJs and B-boys. First and foremost, I do want to acknowledge, I don't know if you want to talk about it now or later, but I don't know if you heard Coolio passed away.
Yeah, a couple people hit me up. We can talk about it now. We can talk about it after. I mean, rest in peace, Coolio.
We'll get into it a little later, and we'll talk some hip hop on some happy shit, and then we'll talk a little bit about Coolio's life, any impact that he made on us or whatever it is.
All right. Yeah. So yeah, we can talk about it. So yeah, I'm ready to rock. I'm annoyed. I hate when
so again, episode 5, DJs and B-boys. Let's get it going.
I hate when technical shit happens with the show, man. Shit pisses me off, B. And it's not the fucking beer, chef. So fuck you, man. Yeah. So we doing the DJ and the B-boy tonight, right? So I don't know if you shared or not before I got on. Breaking this up.
I don't start unless I know you're not gonna get on. I don't start until you get on.
Oh, so okay. I didn't. Okay, yeah. So why don't you? I mean, do it. I'm hyped right now because I hate when technical shit happens. So
all right. So I can start. All right. So again, to me, you said it before. Graffiti stands alone in its own element. Their own, the graffiti writers, bombers, whatever you want to call them, artists. They're in their own lane and they kind of stand alone. The MC, for the most part, by default, especially except for the era, right? If you're talking 2000s, you might not put them together with the DJ. But
right.
The 80s, 90s, if you think an MC, you think MC DJ, and vice versa. But for us, and neither one is better than the other, but for some of us that are deep in the culture, for myself, and I'm sure you do as well, whenever I say DJ, I also think of the B-boy, right? Because, again, we've talked about it. And I'm going to get into the importance of the DJ, or that the DJ played with this shit that we call the culture, the hip-hop culture, right? What we call it these days. So, and I mentioned it before, right? Without a DJ, and I'm not saying it would never happen, because we had rappers, or not rappers, but artists rhyming rhythmically or, musically giving you a story, right? In the 40s, 30s, 20s, whatever it is. But to the extent that a rapper is now, or hip hop music is now, I don't know if that would have been the case without the DJ. So I'll say this, the importance that the DJ played for both aspects, DJ and the B-boy. I mean, the B-boy and the MC. Without the DJ and the DJ's expression through manipulating sound on 2 turntables, 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever, how many turntables now they use, fucking a bunch of them. But without the DJ and the DJ manipulating a sound, you wouldn't be able to extend, and I'm going to call it a heartbeat, because we talked about it last week, right? That heart, or the week before that, the heartbeat, the music, you're moving to a sound, to a vibration, not a flat line. We've talked about that. Can't remember, with Dada Rock said it, right? So the DJ will, and you froze up again, by the way. The DJ is providing you these vibes that your body, as a dancer, as a B-boy, as a B-girl, responds to physically, right? So without the DJ being there giving these sounds, then we might, oh, you fell off. I'm going to keep talking. Without that, you're not able to express yourself through dance, right? Whether it's a freestyle dance, B-boy, pop lock, or whatever. So again, we got a whole B-boy, B-girl culture spawned out of a DJ culture. Again, we're talking pre-hip-hop culture. This was being done before someone ever said, hey, we're doing hip-hop. That shit wasn't a thing before. And I know a lot of you know this. I get it. But for some that don't get it, that don't know it, that's why we're here to express it. And then after that, way after that, right? Because the DJ was doing shit in the 60s, and then B-boys were doing doing their thing late 60s, early 70s. And then when it came time to actually, because there's rhymers too, right? You got to understand, before there were jams, you had 14-minute sessions from rappers and MCs that were just doing their thing on the stage, and it was 5 different MCs in one group vibing out on that extended beat break. So again, without the extended beat break by the DJ or from the DJ, then we wouldn't have not only the B-boys and the B-boy culture, but then we wouldn't have the MCs being able to display, I wouldn't call it lyricism at that time, you know, their wordplay, I guess, at that time. And then, you know, later down the line, then you wouldn't be able to get, you know, battles. Again, the first main battle documented is you're back. The main battle, I'm gonna keep it going. The main battle is obviously Kumo D and Busy B. But so again, what I'm saying is the DJ, any DJ from that era, really is important to what we now kind of almost take for granted. I mean, do you feel like we take the DJ for granted nowadays? Right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, have you seen them? There's a video of like some show where they hired somebody to like stand behind like a thing that looked like it was like controllers and shit, and they were just like bopping, and there was no. So yeah, of course. Yeah. I mean, I got bits and pieces of what you were saying as far as like, listen, it looks like you're saying without the DJ, these other things kind of wouldn't have happened. Maybe and you didn't want to say they wouldn't have happened, but they certainly wouldn't have happened in the way that they did. You know what I'm saying? Because
exactly.
The DJ was taking the breaks, and then Grand Wizard Theodore comes with the scratches and stuff like that. So yeah, right. Somebody says right here, the DJ chopped up the songs and in the breaks to create breaks and loops. So yeah, so that's the thing, man. You know what I mean? Like the DJ, all that shit. The graffiti obviously was going on, right? But the DJ was creating that. Obviously, and B-boys, you know, we're doing shit even before that. But like DJs bringing that stuff together, the breaks, MC, you know what I mean? And all of a sudden, then we get in at the very beginning, the elementary stages of rap. Real quick, y'all, I want to give a big shout out. I just reconnected with my homeboy from 30 years ago.
Oh, shit, okay.
We were 10 years old in Cleveland, Ohio, but my man Eddie Frierson, you know what I'm saying? My ace from way back. We went through a lot of shit from like we came of age together and shit, like as far as like just growing up like outsiders, like motherfucking Karate Kid shit. Like and you know what I'm saying? We just reconnected today after like 30 years of like, you know what I'm saying? So big shout out to him, he's on the show. So but
how if you don't mind me asking, how'd you reconnect? I mean, through Instagram, or did you always have connection?
I fucking decided today to look again and submit look for this cat, and I looked for his sister because I was, you know, his sister was younger than us. I looked for his sister, and I found her IG, and she actually responded or whatever. She reached out to him. She was like, you know, is this him or whatever, and then that was that. And we talked before the show. So that's my man. So we haven't talked in a long ass time. So he's on the show, but yeah, but
that's what's up.
So yeah, I just wanted to say that. But yeah, the thing is, it was the catalyst for all that shit, man. That was you don't go nowhere and like with your B-boy and they're like nothing. Even the nicest, nothing looks good. I mean, no B-boy looks good to no music or whatever. You know what I mean? So what do you MC? You hear cats MC in there a cappella or whatever, but it's not the same without no beat behind it. So yeah, man. I mean, the DJ was the catalyst as far as this shit goes, and which is it's interesting because I think it'll be a good segue to my point when we get to it. But yeah, the DJ was the catalyst as far as this shit goes, and we
and that's what I mean.
Your shittiest rapper would not be here right now if it weren't for
yeah. And I'm glad you brought it up because I don't want to have my words twisted. I don't mean it would have never happened. But just before we get to your part or to your point, what I mean is, okay, if the B-boys or the B-girls, whoever the dancers, let's just say, got hype off of that break, and that break is a couple seconds, maybe even like, you know, let's say a James Brown joint, he gives his band maybe a minute and a half, and that's when, you know, the dancers go off. All right, so now you're limited, at least at the jam, at the club, at whatever you're at, you know, you're limited in displaying your art. Now, again, I know as someone that used to dance before, that's not the only place you dance, right? But your vibe, again, and this is all vibes coming from the DJ. maybe the unraveling of styles wouldn't have come so quick and so profound the way they did if those breaks weren't extended, right? It gave that dancer more wiggle room to display what they had in them with before they even knew they had it. Same with the MC. All right, so before it's your hip hop, your crowd participation. Let me see you. Let me see you throw your hands up. Let me see you say help. Blah 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 blah. Well, okay, now you got an extended beat break. Now you got more to say. You're gonna run out of what's your sign, so now you got more to say. So let's be honest. Aside from providing a foundation musically, it helped skillfully talent for these artists and b-boys to just go off. And I'm wondering if that's what, maybe one of the reasons why they call it the go off, just boom. So just wanted to make that point. And I'm glad you brought it up because don't want my words to be mixed up at all.
No, it just wouldn't happen in the same way. That's all.
No.
And how could it? And so that leads me to get to this point here, man. Check it, because you said how critical the DJ is as far as the culture, and him or her being phased out, right, or being the importance, de-emphasized, whatever word you want to use. So I'm kind of putting this out there. I don't necessarily believe this. I'm just putting it out there because I've heard it, and other people have talked about adding different elements, and you bring it up sometimes. Should the DJ element be replaced with producing? If we were, and I'll say this, I'll just put it out there. I don't necessarily think so. I think the four elements are what they are, and things have kind of branched off of those, and the original shit stays the original shit. But some people have, like, some people say beatboxing, and I'm like, when it comes to the elements, I'm a really traditional dude. Like, there's four elements: knowledge, and then there's knowledge, which is ideally the application of those elements. So I don't think anything should be replaced with anything. Like, but I'm just putting it out there for fodder because I've heard it before.
Yeah, I don't think so. And I'm with you. I've heard people actually take that into consideration and push the DJ. Maybe not wanting to do it, but they push the DJ to the side and just call it producing. Now, we got to understand, those are two completely different things, right? A lot of people, and I had done it myself. Again, we were talking about on the side note, not here. We're talking about ethnicities and Hispanic and lumping everybody together in one thing.
Word.
So it's kind of the same thing with this, right? Whenever I have a conversation with somebody, I've caught myself talking about someone that makes beats, and I know this producer. No, I don't know this producer. I know somebody that makes beats.
Yeah.
Producing and beat making are two different things. Again, we've talked about this. I won't get into it, but to answer the question or to add on, now, man, the DJ is its own element. I'm also not going to say, oh, we're going to put the producer as a fifth element or a sixth element. I also don't do sub genres or sub elements. It's just, it's branched out. KRS busted out with like 9 different other elements, and if that's what it is, whatever. But I'm with you. I'm a purist. I'm to the core, and there's 4. Knowledge, is a 5th one, but that's as far as it goes with me. I respect the producer, those that actually produce, but we're 2 different things. Someone I think it was Chef that said it. Some producers can't DJ. Some DJs, actually, I've seen a lot more DJs that could actually make beats. I'm not going to say produce, but because you are, for the most part, sampling off of a record, and there's some kind of rhythmic, being able to put sounds together to essentially make a beat, but I can't say they're producing it.
Right. Yeah, I'm not down to add anything either. I think some people have talked about stuff like that, and I think that's when you get to the danger of just changing stuff just for the sake of changing it. But listen, I can see I'll be honest with you, out of all the things that, as far as adding goes to it, like if we were to add something, I could see the argument for this though, because look, over the years in hip hop, the DJ unfortunately has become minimized. Is not the primary focus, or I shouldn't say primary focus. Isn't a large focus at all, really. It's not, and I'm sorry, that element is and it pains me. I love that element, but it pains me because it's not. No, it's not the same, and it doesn't get the respect that it should. And so producing has taken the forefront, come up to the forefront as far as like artistry or whatever, as far as that goes. So it's, I mean, I don't know, I wouldn't do it, but I could see the push and see if I could see the people on their soapbox like pushing for that, because when's the last time we talked about a DJ in hip hop, a prominent DJ? Only when you and I talk. Like, we don't. So that's not in casual conversation when it comes to hip hop. DJ so and so, never. It only comes.
I'm also. I mean, we got to talk about this too. I mean, again, we've talked about DJs having to make their own lane. You know, in the '90s, getting pushed off to the side, and yeah, I mean, do these DJs or did these DJs really say, all right, kind of like a rapper, right? Oh, I'm gonna get Large Pro, so and so to produce my music. Did these DJs do the same thing where I'm gonna get so and so to produce this, give me a beat, and I'm gonna scratch all over it? Nah, they probably produced it themselves or made the beat. There I go again. Made the beat themselves and pushed their product themselves. So did some of these DJs say, well, yeah, I'm still a DJ, but now I'm a producer, right? Look at that's a little different, but look at DJ Quick. Dr. Dre. Dr. Dre was a DJ. I mean, that's how he started. He wasn't rapping, and you know, I'm not going to talk about the rapping part, but now I can safely say he is a producer, even though we know he gets help and gets all the credit. But I mean, yeah, it's one of those things. I get it. I can understand where people come from with it. It really boils down to me being a purist, though. I keep it at the fore.
Yeah, I'm not trying to change anything either. I'm just definitely just putting it out there. And
check what Chef said too.
What he said.
I think that could be a good thing and a bad thing.
I think producers reach out to DJs because of their scratching abilities. That comment.
Yeah. See, yeah. So if we think about it that way, it's a good thing because, all right, producers, beat makers, whatever you want to call them, are somewhat keeping that DJ involved in a new project.
Yeah.
The art of scratching is still prominent, or not prominent, but just, you know, on this project. But it's also, because I've thought about this before, you know, and through conversation, I can't remember who I was talking. It might have been you. Somebody I was talking about it, and it was like, yeah, the DJ, blah blah. But it's like, okay, but let's think about it this way though. If I'm this producer that says I gotta have scratches on all my joints, and I'm getting different DJs, cool. But if I'm only using them for that scratch alone, are we minimizing that DJ's ability, or that DJ's ability to make money to feed their kids off of just, let me just get you to scratch on this, as opposed to, you know, more than just scratching, help me with this, you know, production of beats or whatever.
No, that's not our job. That's not the producer's job to make sure the DJ eats. I mean, the producer is, in fact, in my opinion, doing the DJ a favor by even reaching out to him or her to get some scratches, rather than sampling some scratches on his own, you know, just snatching some scratches. So no, I don't think so. I mean, yeah, I think the DJ, it's the DJ's responsibility to try to figure out some other lanes of income, and that they shouldn't bank on that. But I think that's becoming a thing these days, and I think that's better than nothing. You know what I'm saying? I think that shows a level of respect and understanding of the craft to say, okay, I'm going to reach out to somebody to get some help with this professional. And again, rather than sampling that shit, you know what I'm saying? So yeah. No, I got you. So we shall we move on to the B-boy, because we're switching up elements?
Let's do it. Yeah, switching it up.
Yeah. What we got here? Oh, you got a couple. I'm looking at yours.
So we both. I didn't even notice until today. We both kind of have the same topic in terms of the B-boy.
Oh, really?
I didn't know B-boying around the world. And I said the contributions around something to that effect around the world. So we're kind of on the same.
Let's see.
Vibe.
We got the acknowledge the world's contribution to B-boying in other countries. Well, there's a few different ways. So I'll set it off then. So I'm gonna look at b-boy in other countries because you have yours. It's a different take on basically on when you're saying it, acknowledging the world's contributions to me. So I just know that I've trained with some b-boys from other countries, especially younger cats, and they're like from this YouTube generation, and so then we've talked about again they're not knowing basics, and so that's a problem. But they can fucking flip like helicopters and do all this other shit, and that's we already talked about this extensively. Like that comes after, and yeah, it's good to know that, but you need to know this, and you need to know how to rock, you need to know how to dance, and so. But so there's different levels to b-boys in other countries. I think some people are just learning via YouTube, depending on where you are in the world. If you've had proper training, you know what I'm saying, who's been coming to your country, you might have a good foundation of certain shit. I've seen some like really ill shit in other countries. But I think the cool thing about hip hop, b-boying, whatever, graph, is that particularly in Eastern Europe, which is really like 15 to 20 years behind the rest of the world in a lot of shit because of the fall of the Berlin Wall and communism and all these countries breaking up. People don't understand that. All that shit, that's why Snow Goons are so dope. That's why all this shit is coming out of Germany. There's super dope German rap, like in their native shit. Dudes killing it. Like, that's why Poland, Russia, the B-boys are crazy. Romania, Czech, over in Eastern Europe, it's crazy. It's been crazy. It's like the 90s over there. Dudes get bread over there on the MC tip. And the B-boys, like, so the B-boy is over there, and it's huge. It's a huge thing, and I think it's dope because they're feeling that enthusiasm that like I had in the 80s and late in 90s and stuff, you know what I'm saying? And they're like running with it and really doing some incredible things. I just think I think the only thing that's the major thing that's always important is that you got to know the history. Like you have to know the history. You got to know what you're doing and where it came from. Why are you doing what you're doing? Why is that called? Why are you calling that an air track or air flare or whatever when it may have been called this before? Or you know what I mean? Do you know what that is? Okay, that's a 1990. That's not, you know, like you're calling it this, whatever it is. Like it's just important that I want it to spread everywhere. That's hip hop has always been worldwide since the beginning, pretty much. I mean, pretty early on. I mean, within the first 10 years, it was already in London. So I think it's dope. But the history is always important and always needs to be there. Got to be there.
Yeah, and you know, again, I'm going to talk about.
And real quick, what to speak of? I spoke about Eastern Europe, but like Japan, big up to my man Robert Band who joins the show a lot. Japan has been on this shit. In Korea, but Japan has been on this shit since like way back, and they're on a different level with the b-boy and shit, like in popping and Korea and Kite and these dudes like fucking.
And you said it. I mean, they've been okay. So I was gonna say something, but now you got me on some other shit.
Sorry.
Let's be honest.
Big Daddy Jane. Who's Big Daddy Jane? G.I. Jane?
Jane went to Russia.
I think that's probably the J's right next to the K, so I'm thinking she meant he or she. Janine, you meant Big Daddy Kane, right?
Big Daddy Kane. Big Daddy. You never know. Maybe there might be a Big Daddy Jane.
There might be a Big Daddy Jane. It's 2022. I mean, maybe he got a.
You don't know. You never know. Yeah. But okay, so when I was in high school, 95, 96, I can say it now, but low key, again, we were into the whole party scene. We were popping graffiti and all that. And it was, I mean, we were mostly in a, you know, Mexican prominent area or whatever, but I can't remember this guy's name. And I'm going to do it. We talked about it. I'm going to encompass just Asian kids. These dudes were fucking nuts on their acrobatic shit. And it's funny because one of the guys, it's going to kill me, guys. I don't know his name. Oh, I can't remember his name. But I remember he was like, the flare. You know, a friend of mine was doing the flare, rest in peace, B-Boy Abu, doing the flare, and he's like, oh, okay. So, and the guy's like, Tony. Tony's like, oh, that's kind of like what the gymnasts do. Yeah, yeah. This guy used to play tennis. Dude
Right.
was fit. I mean, his legs, everything. My understanding, it was 2 weeks after he kind of like, oh, that's a flare. Okay, that's how you do it. Came back, did a flare, no problem, way easier. Made it look like it was nothing. Where we were practicing for hours and weeks, and this dude just like nothing. I was like, what? Had no idea what to do with footwork. He just, all he did was just, I'm gonna do it. There was no, start, nothing. He just did it. So these dudes have been on it. We were low-key scared of the Asian crew at our high school that knew how to b-boy, because I was like, yeah, I'm not, like these dudes are just insane. So yes, b-boying around the world. I'm going to go back to say this. Regardless of wherever dudes from the Bronx, Brooklyn, whatever it was, got these moves from, regardless, right? They probably got them from, whether it's Jamaican music, whatever it is, right? They come from their own background, right? Their parents, whatever, parents have moves. I'm going to factor in some of the stuff I saw as a kid to some of the stuff that I see now, and now I created a new move. Right. Fast forward to now.
Right.
Yeah, you may be able to do, I'm going to say cricket, 1990, a flare, a windmill.
Right.
But can we really go back to the hunger, the poverty, the need to be a part of something, the need to be different, the need to be a flower in a world of just, or in an area, in a project, a borough where everything is just beat to shit? No, you can't. So that attitude, which we talked about, if you recall, that attitude is not there. And I'm not putting them down, but again, in the midst of lacking that energy, that vibe, that want, that, and I'm not saying, we need poverty, but not being from that era, that geographical location, but being as hungry from another country, right? We're spoiled to shit here in the US. So-and-so comes to the state, and then I can see KRS-One whenever I want, as opposed to Russia. Like, yo, when they get someone, like, they go crazy. Same thing with the dancing. Even though the internet is at their fingertips, it's different.
Right.
They've gone through their own shit, and they're putting a twist on their own styles and attitudes. So it strengthens, it broadens that b-boy culture, DJ culture, MC culture. So I salute the whole freaking world and their contributions to this shit.
That's interesting, because I thought you were, it's funny, is for one point I thought you were going somewhere else where you were going to basically say that, like, because they didn't experience the early shit, then they couldn't really experience shit.
Nah.
But quite the contrary, right? Like, they got their own beefs over there, like their own, like, German MC beefing with whomever, London, London, Brixton, and whatever this area of London are beefing. So there's already that going. They're creating their own history, There's, so when, because shit spreads, and then it's like, okay, at some point shit has been entrenched enough where it's been a part of something. Like, so, in 50 years, like, hip hop in Germany or whatever, like, they'll be like OGs, and there already are, like, so there's already pioneers of German. There's already the first German MC or whatever. If you look at, or if you go back to France, MC Solar, whomever who was doing this early. So, in terms of MCs, and look at me always going back to rap, but b-boying and this, in particular, that's something that's definitely traveled around, and so it's dope to see. Do you both feel at all the rave scene in the '90s helped b-boying? It really didn't affect it. As a heavy, I'll jump in there real quick. As a heavy participant in the East Coast rave scene, which is a lot different than other areas because of the grimy, thugged out aspect.
Yeah, that's why I put that there, because
like legendary crews, So out here, I saw Rock Raider. I saw at a rave, Rock Raider, Bismarcky, Scratch Pickles, and somebody else in the same spot next to, like, legendary techno and house DJs. So and B-boys were going back and forth, and I've seen some epic battles, yo. So at least in New York, the tri-state, New York City area, Boston, Philly area, the rave scene went hand in hand with 90s hip hop, or in our spots, like, because the B-boys were there. There was beef, niggas was getting shanked and fucked up, and the whole shit. I mean, it was grimy. Our raves were grimy. Like, there was the fucking, you know, there was the Molly, the Vaseline shit, and the candies, the glow sticks, and all that. But yo, our shits, cats were getting stomped out on the reg. I've seen motherfuckers getting stomped, cats go in the bathroom, 5 dudes run up on them, boom, 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 stick them, take all their drugs, boom, boom, and sell them back to them later. So, yeah, out here, that was a heavy. A lot of people wouldn't. I mean, I'll be honest with you. A lot of people won't want to admit that, because they consider the rave scene as some like candy shit, you know, some corny. Yeah. But real East Coast New York, a lot of New York, I seen fucking showbiz. I mean, AG from Digging in the Crates at a rave. Like, I mean, not rhyming, just at the party. I mean, yeah, like, you know, so I think it definitely. I mean, that whole, at least out in New York and Connecticut, Jersey, that area, the rave scene was they were intertwined to a certain extent, not all the way, but to a certain extent. So
yeah, well, Chef, I mean, I believe from the West Coast. Forgive me if I didn't know that off top.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
man, that shit was the 90s. I mean, even though you know, raves out here in the West Coast, Southern California for the most part, was really more like house, hard house, deep house, techno, progressive house, and then you had that hardcore like Ron D. Core, Yellow Smiley, and them. It was still where cats were. You were either a groover, a raver, but you were still on that pop lock, some b-boy moves. But yeah, I remember this dude. He might have been from LA, but his name was 007. This dude was incredible with his work. And I'll be honest, even though I was hip hop before the rave shit that we were doing, I don't know if I would have gotten into pop locking if it wasn't for the rave scene. So there's that. I mean, yeah, it went hand in hand. It was these days, sadly, if I were to drive down the street or be with like some hip hop friends, and I would put on some house, some deep house, progressive house, whatever it is, or even hardcore. I don't know if you know what that is. My understanding is that hardcore music is mostly out here, which is kind of weird, and we'll talk about it later. But if I were to put on that music with a bunch of hip hop heads these days, they'd be like, what the fuck are you doing? That's on some, whatever shit. Where back then, you can have, and again, another guy named Tony, we'd always be, it was always, him and I would always talk shit. Who was better, Wu-Tang or Outkast? And this is right at like 96, 97. But we can sit there for hours just talking about Wu-Tang, and then all of a sudden we get in the car and we throw on, some whatever, DJ Henry or whatever, and now we're vibing off house music. But coincide, we'd be popping to house music. You can change it to some hip hop shit. Even raves, you'd hear like, you're banging out, whatever, and all of a sudden they, next DJ or whatever, boom, some fast pace, some KRS-One where the B-boys can get down, coincide together. That was beautiful.
That was dope.
I think, and Chef, yes, I do think the rave scene kind of helped it out, at least out here. And obviously what Jamal said, it did help it out. I mean, it kept it going where maybe the hip hop scene was kind of pushing it off to the side. The house scene, the rave scene, was still pushing it.
Absolutely. I want you to share. I'm curious about your point about that you had about the footwork, though, as far as what you were going to say about.
Oh yeah. It really goes back. It really goes back to the attitude. B-boying B-boy and B-girl. There's an attitude that comes with it, right? So, again, I am not from the Bronx. I'm not from Brooklyn. I'm SoCal, Santa Ana, Anaheim all day. But my understanding from the way I grew up, from the way I saw, and from what I've read, this is really you creating an iron front. Like, I'm better than you. Same thing with MCing, but we're talking B-boy. Like this, my body is going up against you. So everything is structured. So, you know, again, we go back to that Ken Swift Mean Mug. Like, to me, that's the best hip hop picture you can, just him mean mugging. So footwork is almost the same thing, right? Because the footwork, it's almost like you're winding yourself up. It's cool to see power moves. I get it. But to me, the wind up. All right, so you start, boom, boom, you know, whatever you want to do, your CCs, blah, blah, if you're on the floor. But you getting ready, it almost, how can I explain it? So let's say you're going to do a flare, right? So you're up rocking, boom, boom, you might go down, you do a little freeze. And then whenever you go down and put, you know, if you're going to come down and kind of push your leg up to get that windmill in, it's kind of like a rubber band, right? So you go backwards and then boom, or the other way around, right? And then you start your flare or whatever it is. Footwork is important. It's not only the way it started, right? And I'm not saying we got to be prehistoric and go back to the old times, but that is the foundation. That is what b-boying was, right? You're, for lack of a better term, you're almost teasing your competition. Boom, boom, what's up? Like, it kind of reminds me like LA culture, where you're posted on like, what's up? You're just, you know, when same thing with the B-boys now. All right, so what up? You're kind of challenging me, and it's almost telling whoever's there, here I am. This is what I'm about to do, and then you go into your whole power moves and all that shit. I think these days the power move gets exhausted. And not like a physical exhaustion, but just you use all the power moves and like 2 or 3 moves. Now all of a sudden you're sitting there and like, shit, now what can I do? Right? So again, footwork is that attitude that makes the B-boy, that makes the B-girl. And unfortunately, I don't see it too much.
No, it's been de-emphasized because the power move is what people scream about. It's what everyone's practicing, and then these dudes can. We've seen the competitions of the past 5-6 years, just how it's changed and what dudes are doing now and people are doing. It's amazing on the power move tip, but yeah, the footwork's not there, and that means again that they're not getting the foundation. You know, like they're not getting, because if they were getting the foundation, if they were getting schooled properly, then they would understand that the footwork is that's paramount to everything, you know, to everything. You're basically working your way down, right? You're starting up top and you're working your way down into your crazy shit. That's kind of how it goes, and at least, and that's you know. But to be honest with you, that's one of the reasons why I stopped. When the shit changed in the '90s and late '80s, you know, Mop Top and all these cats, I went that direction because of the freedom. Because yeah, it's very rigid. One point I wanted to point out before we move on is that in like house and freestyle dancing, footwork means up top. Like it's not, you know, footwork is your up top. So it's just a you know, interesting point there. But yeah, it's been de-emphasized like everything else. Look, I always say it. I talk to my graph heads. We have big up to our man Fu, UTI crew, LA, Phoenix. He's our graph admin, and he gets a lot of dope shit for us. And he was talking to me about fuckery and graph. You talk to a DJ, there's fuckery with the fundamentals in DJing. Cats can't rock vinyl and shit. You know what I mean? They knob turners. Graph cats can't do rock hand styles. They can only do big pieces. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they don't do no real bombing. They can't do throwies, none of that shit. No hand styles, nothing. MCs can flip crazy bars all day and night, talking all types of crazy shit, but can't put together complete songs, right? You know what I'm saying? Because they're rhyming over super slow beats or whatever. And then fucking B-boys can jump to the fucking moon and do all sorts of helicopter crazy pirouette shit, but they can't fucking up rock. And they're not even on beat a lot of times. They just fucking come out and jump. So in every single element of hip hop, there's fuckery. But to me, on a bigger level, I look at life, in every single element of life, as far as I'm concerned right now, there's fuckery. In politics, well, there's always fuckery, but in sports, there's fuckery.
Oh, it's all over the place.
It's fuckery everywhere. So that's what it is, fam. So you know what I'm saying? You know. So it's
Miracles,
all of
lyrical, spiritual.
all of the fundamentals have been like dookied on the past 15 years.
Can I emphasize on this too? I forgot to mention this, and
What up?
I think this is just me. Why the footwork is important from the outside looking in, right? So it doesn't matter if you know what certain moves are or whatever, but from the outside looking in, music is playing. For the most part, you're not really spinning on beat. Like, you're just spinning, and then at that point, we kind of forget. Like, all right, if you're spinning, okay, you didn't, your right foot didn't pass me exactly right when that drum kick. It happens. Footwork, I'll know if you're off beat. That's when you're connected to the sound. When you're spinning on your head and all that, we kind of lose the sense of, all right, you're on beat, you're just on some other shit. And it's fine, it's not a bad thing. But one of the other reasons why I feel the footwork is important, because at that point, you are connected with the vibe, with the music, with the DJ, with the crowd, everything. That's all I need to say about it.
Right, and lastly, before we move on, b-boy, it's important to understand, b-boying is dancing. It is not acrobatics first. Dancing first, acrobatics second. That is what it is. And so it's been changed, or the emphasis has been changed over the years, but b-boying is a dance. It is not no fucking circus shit first. So on to the next.
Yes, sir. What else we got?
Back to the DJ, right? Or we talk. Yeah, we back to the DJ before we talk Coolio. Yeah, rest in peace to Coolio.
Word. So I think you can take it. I think you said something about your favorite DJ or something like that, right?
Oh, so my taking it was by actually dumping it on you. So I was gonna ask you, who's your favorite?
Okay.
Who's your favorite DJ and why? And then I'll share mine.
So
hey, real quick, there is no real criteria. Favorite just means like if you had a go-to DJ, like DJ for whatever reason, whether they're like super scratchy, or super party, radio DJ, whatever. Like DJ, there's a wide range, so it's not like I'm not like if you could pick Rock Raider, I could pick Marley Marl, whatever. So it doesn't really matter. Like just who's your favorite, without giving it too much thought, and why.
Yeah. So
pin this comment. Go ahead.
You fucked up asking this question because I want to go like this, but
of course you are.
It really depends on kind of like the day. I'm gonna say two, and I'm gonna lean towards the second. Cut Chemist, to me, Cut Chemist, just because of the wide range of music that he's able to play. You can say, I went to a Cut Chemist show and it was on some old hip hop shit. Boom, the crowd was live. He knows how to control the crowd. Or I went to a Cut Chemist show and it was Motown, super dope vibe. I was with my lady drinking a little bit. So he knows how to control a crowd that way. But, and the reason why I say this, and I think I just saw my cousin come on, and this is one of his favorite DJs, J Rock, Beat Junkies. This cat is, man, you can say, I'm going to go see a DJ set, not on some old fucking, spinning, on back and all that shit. Just, this guy's going to play some incredible music, not just hip hop, can play fucking rock and roll, country, and it's going to be a live set. Or you're going to see some crazy, wicked tricks that you've probably never seen before. And this dude could be at Amoeba Records. This dude could be at a hole in the wall, or he could be at a fucking Coliseum, and it's still live as hell. So
real quick, pin this comment. Just pin this comment.
Yeah. Oh, you already
and unpin the other one. Well, yeah. Go. I'm sorry. I just wanted to get that.
Yeah. No, good. Thanks. Yeah, talking to DJ. So, again, my response is always going to be Cut Chemist, J Rock, but I kind of lean toward J Rock, and maybe subconsciously because Cut Chemist, that name Cut Chemist is, I think, I'm going to go this route. maybe the name is known more globally, where J-Rock, because he likes it that way, kind of plays more of the, you know, real subtle, real like, yeah, I don't want my name out there. But this dude's incredible, incredible.
Mm. All right.
Biased
So
because I'm from the West Coast, maybe.
no, of course. I mean, and there's see, bias. People, we look at bias as being bad, though. Bias doesn't necessarily mean bad. Bias just means there's a reason why you're influenced. Why you're influenced. That's all. So there's a reason why you're influenced. Why you're influenced. There's a reason why I'm going to say who I'm going to say. You know what I'm saying? So that's all. It's not bad. We always look at bias as bad, but it's
True.
like,
That's
yo,
true. Very true.
there's a reason. So I don't really have one, and so I had to really like force my. Even though I put this topic, I just kind of wrote it down. See, part of me wants to say premiere, but I'm like just straight DJing. I don't know. I mean, I would say I would be way too much on the producing aspect. So if we're just looking at DJ, I was leaning either towards. I was probably going Kid Capri, to be honest with you.
Kid Capri will get you hype as fuck.
Just because of some stories I've heard about him, like rhyming with like doing like shows with like fucked up equipment and shit and stuff, like crazy shows and stuff, no headphones and stuff, like wild shit. And also because he can scratch some and cut it up. He plays bangers. He knows how to get the crowd hyped. I think he's in tune with the crowd, and he's gonna rock it, and he's gonna have good transition. He's a good DJ, so I just feel like when I say favorite, so it's for me. It's like I'm looking at more of like he kind of checks kind of all the boxes a little bit for me.
I can see that. That's definitely respectable. Kid Capri. And let's acknowledge too, Kid Capri. You know, he didn't. It wasn't just like, oh, I'm a DJ. I mean, he was there early on. He was part of the whole BDP. You know, he rhymed. He does producing. So yeah, it encompasses all of that we know is the elements of the culture.
Yo, are there any more comments, or is it like frozen on your end?
Let's see. Oh, damn, there's a bunch. DJ Crazy is underrated.
I can't see. Newmark. That's fucked. I hate when this shit happens.
Yeah, the last comment I see is DJ Craze is underrated, which I agree heavily.
So you're gonna have to just make sure you see them, because I don't see them.
Yeah.
I mean,
you know, the funny thing is when I had to physically scroll because normally they come up. But let me say this: this is an honorable mention, and a very honorable mention is Jazzy Jeff.
I mean, honestly, yeah, Jazzy Jeff is really, really good.
Yeah, I see. I know he has a name for his lives that he does.
I've seen him rock out at a party. Yeah, he's really
okay.
good.
I'll be honest, and that's what it's all about, right? There's been times like my cousin Joe's like, dude, he'll send me when Jazzy Jeff is live. I could be fucking just sitting here, just like fucking, you know, moping around or whatever. I put it on. 5 minutes later, I turn on my fucking Bluetooth. Shit is on, lights are on. I'm just like, and it could be New Jack Swing, funk, some Michael Jack. It's just again, it's easy to transition music. You can have a fucking Lenny Williams slow jam and then transition to a Quincy Jones. You can have an Ebony Webb funk song transition to a Zapp and Roger really beautifully. And then from that, like, all right, that's some G-funk or that's some funk. Let's throw in some Dr. Dre, some Warren G. Great. But the songs you pick, which Jazzy Jeff is great at, especially with that old rhythm and blues, some old soul, and that's why he's an honorable mention to me.
No, and I feel like crap because I left him out. So no, absolutely, man. And absolutely. So
Spinner's dope too. I
are
don't
you
know
going?
if I mentioned him, but
Who?
Spinner's really dope.
Who?
DJ Spinner. Someone
Yeah.
who posted it. Oh,
Oh, yeah.
Chef.
He's dope.
Yeah.
He's dope. Are you going with your DJ porn, or are we discussing Coolio?
Let's do Coolio because I really didn't. I mean, if we talk about DJ timelines, we're set. It's 7:54. We got 6 minutes. I'm gonna extend that out for another 30. So I'll put it off to the next DJ conversation we have, episode 7. 6 is gonna be rap and graffiti next week. But I mean, we'll take the last 5-6 minutes or whatever it is to talk about on the unfortunate passing of Coolio, which we may or may not know was part of the Mad Circle with Dub C in the 80s, 90s. Went solo, obviously. The first time I heard him, aside from what, Dub C, was the single County Line. I don't know if you guys remember that single. I just posted it right before we got on, but County Line single. This is, man, I think it samples More Bounce by Zappa Roger, which I just mentioned.
Yeah.
Coolio was dope to me, man. I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh, I rock. The Fantastic Voyage stuff didn't really work for me. That was a little too poppy, I guess. It was dope, but I didn't really mess with it. But Gangsta's Paradise, he was a solid dude, and I do want to mention this real funny story, and my wife can come in here and confirm it. We were at LAX 97, 98, probably 98. LAX, we're picking somebody up. I have no idea who it was. And I look off to the side, and I'm thinking, like, who the fuck is that? Was that it? For just a split second, I thought it was Busta Rhymes, because he was just sitting. We came out of the actual, we couldn't find the person that we were picking up. And I look over to the side, and this dude had a big-ass jacket and, like, the braids or whatever, what I thought was, cornrows, braids, whatever it was. And I'm like, yo, that looks like, my wife was like, check who's over there. And I'm like, fuck, that's that Busta Rhymes? And I kept looking. I didn't want, we totally forgot about who we were picking up. And I'm looking over. I'm like, yo, I'm getting his autograph. Like, I'm just talking to him. He gets up, and I'm like, oh, shit, it's not Busta Rhymes. It's Coolio. Straight up, Coolio was just walking over, and he's pissed as fuck. And I'm like, oh, yeah, we might want to bone out at this time. So as I'm like, no, it might have been later than that because I had a cell phone. Either way. So we're moving off to the side. And all I can hear, he's by himself. And he's like, fucking this and fucking that. And I'm like, oh, shit. And he's said something about his ride. So my thing is like, yo, Coolio, what's up? Just right off the top, like, what's up? And he looks at me really pissed. And I'm like, oh, shit. What the fuck is he going to say? And I'm like, bro, you need a phone? Like, do you need a ride? And I really wasn't saying, like, do you need a ride from us? But he's like, oh, yeah, let me use your phone. Really cool story. Nothing major. But he used my phone, got his ride. Ride was, like, on the other side of the fucking airport. Dapped him up, cool. Little conversation about his stuff, what he was working on. Ironically, was going straight to the studio. But that's my encounter with Coolio. Really solid dude. From what I know, a lot of people, and maybe you can confirm. I don't know about out in the East Coast. I don't know why a lot of people looked at him more of like a jokester. Do you ever come across that?
Yeah, because I mean, I can't see the comments or anything, but to be completely transparent, we didn't rock with Coolio like that. I get so here's the thing. The first thing we heard, Gangsta's Paradise, and I think there was some other shit. Oh yeah, Fantastic. And then there was the Crack. So here's the thing, yo. Like, and I don't know how it is out west, but where I grew up, like, you're looked at differently if you fuck with crack. Like you're just like, ew, damn, that's for like dirty ass fiends. So like those three things were for us. So I just didn't rock with him, yo. I mean, I didn't know any of his other music. I didn't even know he did any other stuff really. I knew who Coolio was based on those two joints. I'm being completely transparent. I knew that he was, with WC and stuff, but I didn't hear any stuff like that from him. I mean, all I heard was just again, I'm from the East Coast, man. So like we didn't hear that shit didn't make its way out. The commercial shit made its way out. Like the whatever, the shit you played today, when I saw on your page, I was like, oh shit, on some real shit. I was like, oh, that's dope. You know what I'm saying? But like I never heard that before. I didn't know anything other than Fantastic Voyage and Gangsta's Paradise, which were both two really commercial songs, and beyond, and crack. That's it. So you got two for me and my whole squad growing up. You got 2 commercial songs and a crack violation. So it's like,
yeah, yeah, and that's why I bring it up, because a lot of people, even out here in the West Coast, you know, a lot of when that whole thing came out, you know, it was kind of like, oh, this, you know, it's fun. And then on top of that, more on the recent case, like the way he wore his hair, and it's like, all right, bro, like you know, and I don't want to talk about it now because you know, bless the dead and the deceased.
no, you have,
but yeah, he got a lot, you know, the braids coming out of his head, like it was like, what are you doing? And a lot of people were saying that. And again, I'm with you. I didn't rock with him in terms of like, yo, I'm not gonna be. I don't rock with him. I don't feel it sucks. His passing sucks. My condolences to all his family. But
yeah,
I don't feel like I did when I found out 5 passed.
yeah, no, I mean,
When
no,
Doom like,
but like, but here's the thing, like, I still look at it like this. I didn't trash Coolio or anything. I felt like Coolio did what he, even based on what I heard, I was like, oh, Coolio did his thing for commercial hip hop. All right, commercial rap. You know, a lot of people did. Like, yeah, I remember the joint. You know what I mean? I mean, so like those, even his music, even if I didn't really like rock with it like that, I mean, like, it still brings back memories of being a kid. Like, I didn't like. I'll take Coolio over 1,000 motherfuckers today. Like, it wasn't so. I mean, I just don't know his catalog enough. And I didn't even know he did some other really like some solid projects. And like the track you posted was dope. So
County Line, yeah, that's more. It's the first song I heard from him solo.
yeah, that's dope, you know. But like,
dope.
I just didn't. I heard what I heard. Like, you know, by the time it got to BET and MTV or whatever, you know, and it was Gangsta Paradise and Fantastic. You know, I mean.
See, in Fantastic Voyage, someone said Coolio crossed over. To me, Fantastic Voyage, and it's really because of the beat, right? So it was a sample. I can't remember the name of the original artist. But that, to me, that was a little too poppy. And again, I'm not trashing him. No, trash him out here. It's not. We're not on some like Vanilla Ice. You know, like, nah. He was dope, and he is an OG from out here. And you know, like I said, when I saw him, to me, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna talk to him. Like, it wasn't like, oh, dude, that's the dude on the pipe, or that's the dude that made Fantastic. Nah, dude, it was just like, that's Coolio. Like I respected the dude. Even though I'm with you, I don't know his full catalog like that. Where I can tell you, like, yo, Doom, yeah, Fife, Tribe Called Quest, yeah, Wu-Tang, like I can spit all that, like, not on that, you know. But again, shout out and condolences to his family, to his friends.
Yeah, it's, I mean, again, we're just losing. Music, I mean, again, it's always bigger than the music. It's bigger than the rap, bigger than the hip hop, whatever, bigger than the elements. So it's about real shit, real life. We're grown men, you know what I'm saying? Families and stuff like that. And you don't want anybody to pass away. And a lot of people in our rap shit and our music and stuff and hip hop culture are passing away early. It's just very early. That's sad, man. Period. So I'm not gonna just chop up Coolio's music. I mean, it's like, yo, that's just sad that he's passed away early. Family, kids, you know, he left behind people. It wasn't like he was probably dolo, you know what I'm saying? So like that's the thing, man. Like, you know, like it's big picture, that's trash. You know, like you don't want people passing away at 59. Like that's not for me. I'm like, damn, that's not too far down the road, yo. Like, you know, like that's not like, you know, I'll be, you know, so that's trash. But, you know, so rest in peace and you know, blood, you know, thoughts to the family and because, you know, we talk about it, move on, but like, yo, they're right. You know, people are dealing with all this. They're dealing with that.
They're just getting started with all. I mean, and you know, and I can talk about it. Like, I just lost my mother-in-law in July, and we're still. I mean, that's still fresh as fuck on our end. So, yeah, man, I feel for it. I just had a conversation with the borrower, and again, we've said fuck cancer and all that, but this dude calls me. I know I shouldn't be saying this, but this dude called me. He's like, yo, stage 4 cancer. I'm having surgery. I don't know if I'm gonna make it. How can I get my son on the title of his house so he can get credit? Like, yo, on your almost deathbed, you're trying to leave this for your kids. That's respectable. So I don't even know why I brought that up, but just, you know, this just happened. The family's just in the process of going through it, right? You got the You got the shock of it just happening. You got the, okay, let's get the funeral thing all done. And then after the funeral is when it really hits, like, you know, we're no longer with so-and-so. We're no longer with, you know, Coolio. So again, condolences to the family, the friends, artists, and everybody that worked with him. Mark Love. I know Mark Love. I doubt you're on here, but I need to get Mark Love on a live here, because there's been multiple times he tried it today when you were trying to get on on live, and I know Mark Love was close to Coolio, so maybe we can get on him, or maybe on some other time or whatever. But
yeah, schedule it. We should get him on, man. I mean, let's, you know, like he probably has he has a lot of stories to share, probably a lot of stuff to share. So we should. I'm down. Let's try to get him on. I mean,
yo, you're bent as fuck, huh?
Oh, you can.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're just like I know that feeling where you're just like, yeah, fucking. Whoo. I get it. I'm probably gonna get twisted right now too.
Wow. Yeah. I'm sorry.
No. That's you, brother. That's all good. But again,
Damn.
all right, guys. Thank you. Episode 5. We were talking about the DJs and the B-boy. We're probably gonna do something a little different next week. You know, we'll talk about it. Normally we do rap and graffiti, but we'll get on it. Appreciate everybody that's on here, brother. Always salute you.
Yeah.
Let the people know what you're doing, what you got going.
I'm sorry if I was too fucked up.
I didn't bring it up because I just thought it was dumb.
Nah.
I've had that feeling before.
So we got Brother Jay on next week for our Billy Dan's interview is up. So it was a dope build. So you guys want to check that out? It's on the channel. So that was a great build. So we got Brother Jay next week. Constant Elevation.
Yo.
I reached out about a super special guest, but I don't know if we'll get him or not. Like, you know, like I don't know, Yusef Hawkins type, like look, yeah. So, well, I don't know.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, Adelphi University, Long Island type. Yeah.
Oh shit.
So we'll see, but I don't know. And then Queen Heroin, and then we got Hat Maker, 5-panel recycle.
Oh, that's right.
Jarrell Cinque, and then we got tomorrow. Hold on, because normally we have a show tonight. Tomorrow we got our man C. Scott. Yo, this kid, listen, on some real shit. You gotta check this kid out. I don't know where you'll be at. It's gonna be like 8 o'clock, but it'll be up.
Oh, I'm on it. Okay.
So like, it's my man. We got our man C. Scott on. He's a young kid. He's like 28, but he's like, this dude makes beats. He's a bass, like fucking DJ, house, hip hop, jazz.
That little shit that he was doing earlier, that repost that I did, that right away, I'm like, where is he going with that? And all of a sudden, oh, beautiful.
Yeah, no, he's nasty with it, man. He can do anything, and so we're just gonna be in studio with him. He's local Pittsburgh dude. We're gonna be in studio with him, just talking music and just going through like his process and stuff like that. So for like you want to nerd out, like, you know, look at lights and shit
like that. Yeah.
Like, so it'll be fun. He's a good kid, and but he's like an old soul. He knows, like, he's just sample heavy. Like, he samples, like, he loves the sample, and so it'll be fun. So
Cool.
I've known him for a while, but I don't really know him well. So, you know, it'll be a good chance for me to like just, you know, get to know him better. So that's what we're doing. So and then we got Napoleon the Legend later on too, in a couple about 3 weeks, 3 or 4 weeks.
Okay, that's gonna be a good one too. I fuck with Napoleon the Legend.
Yeah. Queen Heroin, our joints drops. So yeah, I'm probably gonna have we're booked out until end of October. So
keep it going, dude. Respect.
Got you A+ going, you know what I'm saying? So we rocking, man. We just trying to go until the wheels fall off. It's a good thing we're doing. I love these builds. Salute to everybody joining, even though I couldn't see the comments the last 15 minutes.
They stopped. Yeah, I don't see the last one. Let's see. Good show, guys. Good show, Janine. Rest in peace, Coolio. Yeah, nothing major.
Yeah, so I like, you know, but anyway. So thanks, man, and let's talk. You said 10 o'clock a.m. You can rock your time.
So I'm taking off 10 a.m. But I can do 10:30.
Your time.
So if my time.
Okay, yeah. So we'll talk. I mean, I'll hit you. I think we could do something earlier then.
Bet.
So,
Let's do it.
all right. Salute everybody. Big up. We'll talk to y'all soon.
Salute, y'all.
All
Peace
right.
out,
Be
brother.
good.
Stay good.
One.